You. Get through the door. Get through the
I take a breath, I'm not gonna lose. This is what I came here to do. I walk that wire and I take that step. Won't look down, got no regrets. Won't look down, got no regrets. I was made for this.
Doing a DWI is probably one of the few things where we are proactive rather than reactive. We could possibly prevent a fatal crash, a domestic from happening, somebody losing their life, rather than be reactive to the crash that we could have prevented.
This week is DWI. It's one of the weeks I was looking forward to the most, actually. I don't know why, I think the whole DWI stuff is cool and interesting. Really cool to see that police officers can actually make a small difference in a way in their communities and in their state.
They were briefed on things to look for, signs of impairment such as open containers, the smell of a alcoholic beverage, bloodshot watery eyes, any admission, so they could see real people, what they're going to encounter once they graduate, what a possibly impaired person looks like.
Tonight is the wet labs, so we get to practice all of our sobriety and SFSTs, so the field sobriety tests. That should be really fun. I think everyone's pretty excited about that.
To speak and make sure you have to ensure on camera that they understand clearly. Because you're on camera, because you got traffic, you have wind, you have so much. You need to speak up. Don't be afraid to speak up and talk to someone. You're not be yelling at her necessarily. Speak up.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Great.
Test right, but there's a couple more things I gotta say. Correct? Yes, sir. Do you have any questions about anything I've showed you so far?
No, sir.
A couple more things. Look down at your feet the whole time. Count out loud every step. Once you start, don't stop till you're done. I just told you a lot of stuff, sir. You gotta tell me if you have any questions. You gotta tell me now.
No, sir.
Got it? So, when I told him to begin, where am I going to stand?
About halfway.
Just right here, right? You see the common denominator here? This is my happy little spot. So from the whole time, I could see everything I need to see, peripherally keeping eyes and ears on what's happening over here and the traffic that's going to run me over.
Especially in the DWI world, we have to explain in court why we do certain things. Here it gives them the foundation. When we do a wet lab, we bring in sober people into a controlled drinking environment. We dose them up to a certain level to show these recruits what a drunk driver actually looks like before they actually encounter one on their own.
Last week we covered basic room entries. Basically, it's anytime you may have to enter any kind of building or structure of any sort to maybe locate any suspects of any type of crime. So some type of misdemeanor, full misdemeanor, or violent misdemeanor, violent felony. If the situation calls for something where an officer would have to enter a building or a structure, we're teaching them basic tactics on how to safely enter that room and try to locate that suspect or subject. Prying a doorway, how to actually enter a room, how to systematically search that room the safest way possible. We taught them decoy techniques on maybe how to try to get a person out and what to do if they do make contact with a suspect in there and how to get them into custody in the safest way possible for all parties involved. Also covered some active shooter stuff, how to move through a building, how to respond to a stimulus, what stimulus is in an active shooter type situation. The biggest thing we covered with active shooters that they're there as a first responder, but not to render aid. They're there to stop any threat that's still in the building. So we had to explain to them that you may have to cross people that are wounded that need medical attention, but that's not what you're there for. So that was kind of the biggest eye opener for all of them, is that they have to turn off that side of their emotions, where they're not there to help people when that's part of what we signed up to do. But they are there helping people by stopping any threat and stopping any other people from getting harmed. For the most part, they picked it up. It was slow in the beginning, you know, a lot of mistakes, and then as we broke them into it systematically, you know, little bit by little bit, kind of the crawl, walk, run theory. So let me show you something. Stand over here, my twin. I'm gonna be here, and I'm gonna make contact with him. So all he has to say is, "Hey, on me." Cool, I'm ready on you. Great. And then as soon as you feel him move, you move.
Yes, sir.
All right. You could see it. You could see that wheel in their head start spinning faster and faster, and they started understanding it, and you know, just understanding how to use cover and concealment inside a building, how to minimize their exposure as they're coming into a room, that kind of stuff. So it was good to see them grow throughout the week. We had some people do better than others, obviously, like we do with everything. But in general, as a class, they all did very well.